Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Mass Effect. Anyway, this one's just basically going to be lore, so if anyone doesn't want to see lore, then feel free to skip. Anyway, profile. You were born on Earth, but you never knew your parents. A child of the streets, you learned to live by your wits and guts, surviving in the hidden underbellies of the metropolis of the human world. Eager to find a better life, you joined the Alliance military when you came of age. You were on the shore leave on Elysium when the first wave of the Scalian Blitz struck. A massive coalition force of slavers, crime syndicates and Bartarian warlords attacked a human colony determined to wipe it out. You rallied the civilian inhabitants, leading them in a desperate fight to hold off the invaders. When the troops broke through the colony's defences, you single-handedly held them off and sealed the breach. After hours of brutal fighting and reinforcements finally arrived, and the enemy broke ranks and fled. Because your actions, Elysium was saved, and you were regarded throughout the Alliance as a true hero. So wait, we were just on shore leave? Wow, okay. Citadel conversations. No, conventions even. These diplomatic talks normally occur in the wake of the Krogan rebellions as a result of the destruction of the conflict. And an attempt to distance the Council from the brutal Krogan warfare. The conventions regulated the use of weapons of mass destruction. A WMD caused a massive environmental alteration to a world. A bomb that produces a large crater is not considered a WMD. A bomb that causes a nuclear winter is. Uses of WMDs is forbidden on garden worlds like Earth, with ecospheres that can readily support a population. If an inhabitable world is destroyed, it would not be replaced for millions of years. The conventions do not forbid the use of WMD on hostile worlds or on sealed space station environments. Many militaries continue to develop and maintain stockpiles. The conventions graded weapons of mass destruction into tiers of concern. Tier 1 is the greatest threat to the galactic peace. Tier 1 are large kinetic impactors such as asteroid drops or deorbiting space stations. Effectively free and available in any system in the form of debris left over from the planetary acertation. Kinetic impactors are the weapon of choice for terrorists of third galaxy nations. Tier 2, uncontrolled self-replicating weapons such as nanotechnology, viral or bacterial organisms, and von-Neumann devices, and destructive computer viruses. These devices lie dormant for millennia, waiting for a careless visitor to carry them onto another world. Tier 3, large energy burst weapons such as nuclear or antimatter warheads. Tier 4, alien species deliberately induced to crowd out native forms necessary to the health of an ecosystem. Ecological tampering can take years to bear fruit, making it difficult to prove. Citadel Security is a volunteer police service answering to the Citadel Council. The 200,000 constables of the CSEC are responsible for maintaining public order in the densely populated Citadel Station. They also provide pirate suppression, customs reinforcement, and search and rescue throughout the Citadel cluster. CSEC has 6 divisions: enforcement, uniformed officers who patrol the Citadel and respond to emergencies; investigation, and detectives who puzzle together the truth behind the crimes, bringing proprietors to justice; customs, screening thousands of passengers and cargo deliveries that pass through the Citadel ports every day. Network deals with the cyber crimes like identity and copyright theft, hacking and viral attacks, and illegal artificial intelligences. Special response deals with hostage situations, bombs, and heavily armed criminals. In the unlikely event that the attackers board Citadel, they are also the front line of defense, armed with military-grade equipment. Patrol, naval armed with ships stationed throughout the Citadel cluster. Unlike the other divisions, they are rarely seen at the Citadel, nor do they stay within one place for long. Joining CSEC is prestigious. Applicants must be sponsored through the Citadel Counselor or Ambassador of an associated council race. Generally, applicants have many years of distinguished service in the military or police forces of their nation, but and an inexperienced applicant who demonstrates talents will be fairly considered. CSEC and Spectres are often at odds. Many CSEC members, notably the current executor Venari Palin, believe that allowing Spectres to be above the law is a dangerous practice. The actions of the Seren Atarius led to the credence of this position. The Spectres, in turn, are aggravated when when the CSEC's dedication to procedure and due process hamper their investigations. Citadel Station Presidium Ring. The ring is an enclosed loop of park-like space serving as connection point to the wards. The interior walls are lined with the embassies and influential races, and the private residencies of the galaxy's elite. The Presidium is full of open-air restaurants, bars, and luxurious meeting places. Gravity is about 1/3 Earth normal. A holographic sky is projected over the ceiling of the ring. Unlike the 24/7 bustle of the wards, the Presidium maintains a 20-hour day schedule, with a 6-hour night where lights are dimmed and the sky goes through a night cycle. Officers and residents are often open to the interior. Oh. It is not unusual for embassies to have no exterior wall at all. This does not cause a criminal problem due to the heavy CSEC persistence and ambiguous monitoring devices in the Presidium. Thieves are quickly identified and apprehended. The ring is the location of the Citadel spaceports, being closer to the centre of the spine. There is less motion for the ship to match, and the reduced spin gravity makes the handling cargo easier. Hundreds of ships pass through the Citadel every day, and other species within the embassy is granted a private dock. The tower at the centre of the ring holds the administration of the Citadel Council. The tower raises over a kilometre from the ring, appearing to thrust forward parallel to the ward's arms. This, as the tower is at the centre of the spinning axis, has experienced little centrifugal force. Gravity is maintained using the mass effect fields at 90 degrees the angle of the ring and the wards. The Councilor docks can be found at the base of the tower, where normally used for diplomatic couriers and inspector business. The shuttles docked here can evaluate the Council's government in an emergency. Evacuate the Council's government in an emergency. I'm really sorry, I'm feeling horribly. Citadel Station statistics. Those Citadel stations equipped with Mass Effect generating zero element cores. Most of the station's gravity is, in the station is centralized. It's generated by most of the gravity on the station is generated by centrifugal force. Rotation 3.5 minutes per revolution. Gravity in the wards is 1.2, while gravity in the Presidium is 0.3 Earth gravs. Total length is when open is 44.7 kilometers, and the diameter when open is 12.8 kilometers. The ward length is 43.6 kilometers, and the ward width is 330 meters. Oh, okay, but not actually that tall. The Presidium ring diameter is 7.2. The width is 553 meters. The exterior armor thickness is 13 meters. That is really quite small. Population is 13.2 million, not including keepers. The gross weight is 7.11 billion metric tons. The height of the Presidium towers is 1.047 kilometers. Station wards. The majority of the Citadel's population lives in the wards, the five massive arms of the station that house the residential and commercial districts. Many galactic races have established the cultural enclaves here. Population density and the cost of living are extremely high, akin to alien cities such as Hong Kong and Singapore. The wards are open-topped, with skyscrapers rising from the superstructure. Towers are sealed against the vacuum, as the breathable atmosphere envelope is only maintained to the height of 7 meters. The atmosphere is contained by the centrifugal force of the rotation and the membrane of dense colored sulfur hexafluoride gas, held in each in place by carefully managed mass effect fields. The view from the wards is spectacular. In the background stars the Serpent Nebula and the nearby blue giant called the Whittle. Move across the sky as the station rotates to stabilize itself. In the foreground, the lights of the building and vehicles on the opposing ward arms perpetually shine. The Citadel has no real day or night cycle. While the station keeps standard galactic time for political functions, business rarely closes and residents acclimate to sleep and work according to their personal need rather than the day-night cycle. Additions and modifications are constantly being constructed, though they must stay within certain specifications that will not compromise the operation of the station. Occasionally, the keepers will descend on an area on the wards and move or change the architecture without explanation. Residents have learned to live with these unexpected intrusions. Unexplicable even. The Treaty of Pharaxin. Due to the destructive potential of the dreadnoughts, the Council races agreed to the Pharaxin Naval Conference to fix a ratio of dreadnought construction between themselves. At the top end of the pyramid, the peacekeeping Turian fleets. Below, the Turians are the other Council races, currently the Asari and Solarians. The Council Associate races are at the bottom. The Human Alliance is part of the last group. The ratio of Turian to Council dreadnoughts is 5, 3, and 1. For every dreadnoughts humans are permitted to build, the Asari have 3 and the Turians have 5. Humanity and the systems of the Alliance. The systems of the Alliance military junta. Ashore. When the ship leaves a vessel, they are ashore. Though normally used regarding planets, it can also refer to a boarding of a station. Away. When a ship releases the equipment tethered to the ship's or space station at dock, it is away. Aye aye, the proper way to acknowledge an order. If told to attack, the correct response is aye aye, sir. If asked, are you proud to be a Marine? The correct answer is yes, sir. Oh, okay, I get it. ASAP, pronounced ASAP, an acronym for as soon as possible. Belay, stop, cease. Bridge, the navigational centre of a spacecraft where the steering is done. The captain's mess, the non-judicial disciplinary proceedings by unit commanders. CSEC. No, CIC, Combat Information Center. The command center of a spacecraft. The CSEC is filled with sensor displays and makes sense over a lot of chaos in combat. DC, Damage Control. The containment and repair of damage to the spacecraft. ECM, Electronic Countermeasures, used to avoid enemy sensors from passive emissions masked by active jamming. There should also be here ECCM, which is Electronic Countermeasures, which essentially they, instead of actively jamming things, it tries to override the active jamming of things. It's basically just the opposite of this. So instead of being used to avoid enemy sensors from passive emissions, it's used to override enemies' avoidance of your sensors. It's in-depth. Anyway, EVA, extravehicular activity, time spent in a pressure suit outside of the vehicle, spacecraft or space station. Flank. The flank is a side of the military formation. Since soldiers facing elsewhere, an enemy that can attack on the flank can often turn it or roll it up. FNG, friggin'. New guys. Derivative term for an inexperienced personnel. Groundside, the surface of a planet. Helmsman, the crew member who pilots a ship. Ladder. Light amplification, detection and ranging. An active sensor that bounces lasers off an object to determine its bearing and distance. LiDAR is a significant resolution that the data can be reconstructed into an image. Okay. Shore party. Spacecraft crew sent ashore on official business. Silent running. An old submariner's term used aboard Normandy to denote when the stealth systems are activated. A SITREP, abbreviation of Situation Report, an evaluation of the current military situation. Spacer, someone who spent the most of their life in space. XO, executive officer, and the second in command of an alliance warship. The XO is responsible for administering personal matters, administrative and personnel matters. Timeline. Also, I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic, so I'm gonna flop over a lot of these words at times. Anyway, in 2069, Armstrong Outpost at the Shackleton crater became the first human settlement on Luna. It is formally founded in July of 24th, the 100th anniversary of the first lunar landing. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Anyway, on 2103, Lowell City in Eos Kremisia becomes the first human settlement on Mars. 2137, Eldfell Ashland Energy Corporation demonstrates helium-3 as a fuel source extraction from the atmosphere of Saturn. 2142, construction of the Gagarin station, jump 0, begins beyond the orbit of Pluto. 2148, prospectors discover the Prothean ruins at Promethe Planium on Mars. Transmission of Prothean data leads humans to the Charon mass relay. Systems Alliance founded to coordinate the exploration and colonization of extrasolar worlds. 2151, a shipping accident at Singapore International Spaceport exposes a downwind communities? Yeah, okay. To containers of dust form element 0. Alliance begins the construction of their tourist station. Roughly 30% of the children born in Singapore after the element 0 exposure suffer from cancerous growths. System Alliance begins settlement of Earth's first extrasolar colony, the planet Demeter. And that was in 2152. 2154, Commander Shepard was born. Oh, okay, so 54 is when we were born. And 2155, Alliance Command occupies complete portions of their tourist station as a headquarters. 2156, some children in Singapore exhibit minor telekinetic abilities. I wonder, were we born in Singapore then? No, we couldn't be, could we? Whatever. Anyway, 2157, Turians encounter human explorers, first contact war, occupation and liberation of a human colony on Shaanxi. 2158, humans learn the potential of biotics. An international effort to track element 0 exposures begins. Roughly 10% of the exposed children show some level of biotic ability. 2160, Systems Alliance Parliament formed. 2165, humans establish an embassy on the Citadel. 2170, Bartanian slavers attack the Alliance colony of Mandor. 2176, the Skillian Blitz happens. 54. 22. So we were 22 roughly. Thresher Maw attacks, devouring the Alliance colony of Akazi. 2178. The retaliation of the Skillian Blitz. An Alliance fleet wipes out an army of slavers in the moon of Tofon. 2183 is the current dates. So 2183, and we were born in 54. So we're 29, actually, right now. Interesting. I thought that'd be interesting. Anyway, Starship sensors. Light lag prevents the sensing of real-time at great distances. A ship firing its thrusters at the chronoton relay can be easily detected from Earth, 5.75 light hours, 6 billion kilometers away. But Earth will only see the event 5 hours and 45 minutes after it occurs, due to the light speed limit. Defenders can't see enemies coming until they have arrived because there is an FTL travel and communications, but no FTL sensors. Frigates are crucial for scouting and picket duties. Passive sensors are used for long-range detection, while active sensors obtain short-range, high-quality targeting data. Passive sensors include visual, thermographic, radiological detectors that watch and listen for objects in space. A powered ship emits a great deal of energy. The heat and life support systems and radiation given off by power plants and electrical equipment, the exhaust of nearby thrusters, the starships, stand out plainly against the absolute zero of background space. Passive sensors can be used during FTL travel, but incoming data is significantly distorted by the effects of the mass effect field enveloping and the Doppler shift. Active sensors are radars and high-resolution lidars, laser detection and ranging, that emit a ping of energy and listen for the returning signals. Lidars have a narrower field of view than radar, but lidar resolution allows images to be images of detecting objects to be assembled. Active sensors are useless when a ship is moving at FTL. Indeed. Anyway, technology. Biotic amps. Biotics manipulate mass effect fields using dozens of element zero nodules within their nervous system that allows it to react to electronic stimuli from the brain. Amplifiers allow the biotics to synchronize the nodes so they can form fields large and strong enough for practical use. Amplifiers can improve a specific discipline or talent. An implant is a surgical embedded interface ports of which the amps are plugged in. On humans, the implant is usually placed in the base of the skull for convenient access though the user must be careful to keep it free from contaminants. Implant ports can fit a variety of amps, and there is a growing market for modifications and add-ons. The finest quality implants and amps are manufactured by the Asari artisans. But the Alliance's L3 implants, first developed in 2170, are a significant step forward. Communications. Real-time communication is possible thanks to the networks and expansive mass relay communication buoys that can daisy-chain a communication via lasers. Convoys are maintained in patterns built outward from the mass relay, and buoys are little more than a cluster of primitive miniature mass relays. Each individual buoy is connected by a partner to another buoy in the network, forming a corridor of low mass space. Tight beam communications lasers are piped through these tubes of FTL space, allowing virtually instantaneous communication to anywhere on the network. The networks contact across regions by communications of lasers through the mass relays. Within the system, the only communications delay is the light lag between the source and the destination on the closest buoy. So long as all parties remain within half a light second, 150 kilometers of buoys, seamless real-time communications is possible since the buoys are maintained in all travelled areas. Most enjoy unlimited instant communication. Ships only suffer communications lag when operating outside of established deep space routes. Around half of an uninhabited outer system gas giants and other unsettled areas. During war times, these comm buoys are the first target of attack. Once the network is severed, it can take anywhere from weeks to years to get a message out to contested systems. In systems where a buoy network has not yet been built or has been destroyed, rapid communication means ferrying information through high-speed courier ships and manned data drones. Credits are creds. The Standard Alliance credit was established by the Citadel's Uniform Banking Act as a currency of the interstellar trade. The credit is managed floating exchange rate. Is a managed floating exchange rate calculated in real time by the central bank to maintain an average value of all participating currencies. Some regional currencies are worth more than a credit, and some are less. Hard currency can often be stolen or counterfeited, so electronic fraud transfers are the norm. Hard currency can be stolen or counterfeited, so electronic fraud transfers are the norm. More importantly, physical transactions cannot be easily tracked, making them ideal for tax evasion or the purchase of illegal goods. When the Alliance joined the Citadel, its various national treasures were linked into the credit network. A human with the bank accounts of Mexican pesos, Japanese yen, or Indian rupees can purchase any item in the Citadel in credits at a fair market value. All economies that participate in the credit network are required to price items in both local currency and credits. Okay, anyway, armor, weapon and equipment upgrades. Development and practical miniaturization of Omni tools allows modern militaries a great deal of flexibility in the equipment loadouts. A vast number of fields modification kits or upgrades are available for common equipment such as weapons, armor, Omni tools and biotic implants, even grenades. An upgrade kit typically consists of less than a dozen unique parts and optical storage disks. When loaded into an Omni tool, the OSD provides technical specifications required for the manufacturing of tools, additional parts necessary to install the upgrade into another piece of equipment. Assembly is typically modular, and installation can be completed in less than a minute. Since Omni tools are designed to be used to use common battlefield salvage equipment such as plastids, ceramics, light metals rendered into semi-molten Omnigel for quick use. It is quite possible for a trained soldier to carrying an upgrade kit to customize the gear on the battlefield to fit the current tactical situation. Anyway, oh, you know what?
The Asari were the first species to
discover
the Citadel. When the Solarians arrived, it was the Asari who proposed the establishment of the Citadel Council to maintain peace throughout the galaxy. Since then, the Asari have served as the mediators and centrists of the Council. An all-female race, the Asari reproduce through a form of parthenogenesis.
They're not female.
They can attune their nervous system to that of another individual of any gender and of any species to reproduce. This capability has led to the unseemly and inaccurate rumors about Asari promiscuity. Asari can live for over 1,000 years, passing through 3 stages of life. In the maiden stage, they wander restlessly, seeking new knowledge and experience. When the matron stage begins, they meld with interesting partners to produce their offspring. This ends when they reach the matriarch stage, where they assume the roles of leaders and counselors.
They may look like females, but they're actually asexual. They don't have a sex, if I'm right in thinking. I could be completely wrong with that, but anyway, Turians.
Roughly 1,200 years ago, the Turians were invited to join the Citadel Council to fulfill the role of galactic peacekeepers. The Turians have the largest fleet in Citadel space, and they make up the single largest portion of the Council's military forces. As their territory and influence has spread, the Turians have come to rely on the Solarians for military intelligence and the Asari for diplomacy. Despite a somewhat colonial attitude towards the rest of the galaxy, the ruling hierarchy understands they would lose more than they would gain if the other 2 races were ever removed. Turians come from an autocratic society that values discipline and possesses a strong sense of personal and collective honor. There is lingering animosity between Turians and humans over the First Contact War of 2157, which is known as the Relay 314 incident to the Turians. Officially, however, the 2 species are allies, and they enjoy civil, if cool, diplomatic relations.
Indeed. There's not much to say apart from they're avian as well. Like, they're actually related to birds, if I remember right. Hence the crest. At least that's what I'm assuming.
50,000 years ago, the Protheans were the only spacefaring species in the galaxy. They vanished in a swift galactic extinction. Only the legacy of their empire remains. They are believed to have built the mass relays and the Citadel, which have allowed numerous species to explore and expand throughout the galaxy. Prothean ruins are found on worlds across the galaxy. While surprisingly intact for their age, functioning examples of Prothean paleotechnology are rare. Time and generations of looters have picked their dead cities and derelict stations clean. Some believe the Protheans meddled in the evolution of younger races. The Hanar homeworld of Kajay, for example, shows clear evidence of former Prothean occupation. The presence of a former Prothean observation post on Mars has caused a rebirth of interventionary evolutionists among humans. These individuals believe the god myths of ancient civilizations are misremembered encounters with aliens.
Which is actually a large possibility, but hey, who knows?
The Elcor
Anyway.
are a citadel species native to the high-gravity world Dakuna. They are massive creatures, standing on 4 muscular legs for increased stability. Elcor move slowly, an evolved response to an environment where a fall can be lethal. This has colored their psychology, making them deliberate and conservative. Elcor's speech is ponderous and monotone. Among themselves, scent, slight movements, and subvocalized infrasound convey shades of meaning that make a human smile seem as subtle as a fireworks display. Since their subtlety can lead to misunderstandings with other species, the Elcor often go out of their way to clarify when they are being sarcastic, amused, or angry. Dakuna's high gravity impedes mountain formation. Most of the world consists of flat, open plains, which prehistoric Elcor wandered across in small family bands. Modern Elcor still prefer open sky and can become restless and uncomfortable on long starship journeys.
Which is understandable. I mean, you know, they are used to being in the grasslands, and they are quadrupeds, which does make it harder for space life. Anyway.
The Geth are a humanoid race of networked AIs. They were created by the Quarians 300 years ago as tools of labor and war. When the Geth showed signs of self-evolution, the Quarians attempted to exterminate them. The Geth won the resulting war. This example has led to legal, systematic repression of artificial intelligences in galactic society. The Geth possess a unique distributed intelligence. An individual has rudimentary animal instincts, but as their numbers and proximity increase, the apparent intelligence of each individual improves. In groups, they can reason, analyze situations, and use tactics, as well as any organic race. Geth space is located at the trailing end of the Perseus Arm, beyond the lawless Terminus systems. The Perseus Veil, an obscuring dark nebula of opaque gas and dust, lies between their space and the Terminus systems.
Indeed. Anyway, Hanar. There's not much to really say
The Hanar
about
are a
that,
citadel
yeah?
species known for excessive politeness. They speak with scrupulous precision and take offense at improper language. Hanar that expect to deal with other species take special courses to help them unlearn their tendency to take offense at improper speech.
Oh,
All
okay.
Hanar have 2 names. The face name is known to the world. The soul name is kept for use among close friends and relations. Hanar never refer to themselves in the first person in conversation with someone they know on a face name basis. To do so is considered egotistical. So instead they refer to themselves as this one, or the impersonal it. Their homeworld, Kajay, has 90% ocean cover and orbits an energetic white star, resulting in a permanent blanket of cloud. Due to the presence of Prothean ruins on the world, many Hanar worship them, and Hanar myths often speak of an elder race that civilized them by teaching them language.
Okay, interesting. What about the Volus?
The Volus are a member species of the Citadel with their own embassy, but they are also a client race of the Turians. Centuries ago, they were voluntarily absorbed into the hierarchy,
I would like to see
effectively
one of these
trading their
guys.
mercantile prowess for Turian military protection. Erun, their homeworld, lies far beyond the normal life zone of its star. However, the world has a high-pressure greenhouse atmosphere that traps enough heat to support an ammonia-based biochemistry. As a result, the Volus must wear pressure suits and breathers when dealing with other species, as conventional nitrogen-oxygen air mixtures are poisonous to them, and in the low-pressure atmospheres tolerable to most species, their flesh will actually split open.
Indeed.
Volus culture is tribal, bartering lands and even people to gain status. This culture of exchange inclines them to economic pursuits. It was the Volus who authored the Unified Banking Act, and they continue to monitor and balance the Citadel economy.
And with that, I'll leave it there for now. So, until next time, all the best, and I hope you enjoyed.